Hello, Musume here, also known as Gabby and other online aliases you may know me as. Today I'm going to be making a response video about Memet Ori, aka John Dances 2, aka Masterofmemes69's video that she made regarding the allegations, because there's a lot of stuff that she left out, and I feel like it would be making a response video to her response video would be a lot more effective. So let's just watch this together, and when she says something I will pause it and I will basically tell you what's wrong with that statement and other things among that. Let's do this.
Hello everyone, Memet Ori here. As of recently, you may or may not have heard of the allegations surrounding my name. These particular group of individuals have tried to do this multiple times.
We tried to do it multiple times because you have done things multiple times. We wouldn't cancel or try to do something like this to somebody if there wasn't a legitimate reason. You are a dangerous person, and the fact that the first few times the message didn't come across you to stop what you were doing, there was something we had to do, and that was, get back at you for all the stuff you've done. You can't just go living your life denying that all this stuff happened, because that's exactly what you've been doing this whole time.
Before, but I've certainly held back. Now that it's gotten bigger as of late, I feel like you all deserve some sort of response.
The only reason you're responding is because people called you out for not responding, despite it being like 1 or 2 days that people have been asking you to please make a response. If people weren't like pushing you to put a response, you most likely would not have done it.
I want to preface this by saying, with the acknowledgement of I've made mistakes in my past, and
those were way more than mistakes. They're not just, don't say they're just mistakes, say they're like actual crimes. What's wrong with you?
I haven't been without regret. I know I've made mistakes, but I want to establish my side in all of this.
You've had your chance to establish your side, and multiple times we've asked you to publicly apologize. You didn't. Most of the times we asked you to at least, attempt to address these things. You didn't. You're only doing it now because you're popular. And I'm pretty sure we all know you're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught doing it, and you're sorry you got exposed doing it.
First off, I never forced any 13-year-old minors to send me nudes.
I'm not going to mention who, but I have a friend who right now is 15, and you were dating her 2 years ago. 2 years ago, she was 13.
Nor was I even 18.
Nor were you even 18, but at the time, you were 17, close to 18. That still makes you look bad, because that's somebody who is 13, 14, that's still like a young kid, that's still a minor, and you know that, especially online, you should never ask minors for nude pictures or any of that. Even if you were close to their age, it still doesn't make it less creepy how often you tried to get nudes out of people.
A legal adult at the time. The dates listed in the images are July 24th, 2018, which makes me 17 years old when the messages were first exchanged, and this individual is not actually 13 but was 14 at the time.
I'm pretty sure they were most likely 13. That's what I was told anyway. But for this scenario, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, alright?
Though we both had feelings for each other at the time and considered each other as partners, I had sincere feelings for them and wanted them to feel safe. Not for news or anything of the sort, because I sincerely worried for their safety and well-being. Some of you may point out and have noticed that it's a bit ironic that the dates of when they and I got together on July 20th is just 4 days away from the date in the images of the Google Doc. I was even the one who initiated the whole dialogue with the question, have you thought about getting intimate? However, I did not force them, as I literally said in conversation, no, I won't force you. And
Okay, but that was during that conversation. And even then, you were most likely doing it because you wanted to establish some sort of, bond or trust to get them to send you inappropriate pictures. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. Not naming names, but you know. Also, it doesn't help that after that fact, when you would ask for pictures and things like that, you would seem to, be trying to coax them into doing it by even saying, like, oh, you don't have to if you don't want to, and, making them feel like, it's kind of hard for me to talk about. Let's just keep going.
called for this whole intimate thing to be called off. I even said they don't even have to be full-on nudes. I know the part where it says full-on is seemingly bad, but my wording there was just off.
Even then, you are still asking for pictures of a minor, whether it be just them in their underwear, whether it just be them actually naked, whether it be their entire body. That's still a really sus thing to ask.
Here in this part, I agree I do come off as really rude, which was not my intention at
No, you're just rude. You're just rude. Saying that wasn't my intention at all. Like, that doesn't make you any less rude than you were.
all, so I dearly apologize for that.
Okay? You're still rude, though.
The part where I say it doesn't even have to be lewd was also terrible wording on my part, and just being kind of rude.
Literally, none of this makes you look any better. And saying it was terrible wording on my part, like, you shouldn't have said that to begin with. Terrible wording is terrible wording. Maybe it makes you look less bad, but like, you still said that. And like, looking back on it, ugh.
On my part, I felt downright guilty for me being a bit rude to her, but it was not to send any nudes. I really did love them, and to this day I still wish this particular individual well. I've even apologized excessively to these groups of individuals despite what the Google Doc says.
Okay, you apologized to those individuals, but you didn't really change who you were as a person. For nearly like not exactly 3 years, but like pretty much nearly 2 years, people have asked you to at least, publicly apologize. Because this isn't the first time you were publicly outed. And even then, when you did apologize, you did not commit to changing. All those times you said you wouldn't cheat on the people you were dating, all those times you promised not to ask minors for nudes anymore. Like, despite you apologizing, you never committed to that. You're only doing it now because, again, you're getting a lot of hate for it.
And have stayed away from them ever since.
Which, like, we appreciate you doing, but at the same time, it really feels more like you're trying to run away from the situation, which I understand you don't want to get involved in drama. Personally, I wouldn't want to be involved in something like that either. But, like, at the same time, to a lot of people that were involved, like, you don't seem like the type who actually cares. Even then, a lot of your apologies consisted of things along the lines of, oh, I'll kill myself. I will deactivate. I've been harming myself, etc., which, like, if you were actually doing that, stop, because people have told you to stop lots of times, to seek mental help lots of times. It feels like your apologies feel like more like guilt tripping than they do apologies. I'm sorry.
I don't want to interact with these people anymore and thought it was all said and done over 2 years ago. Yes, I did draw that. I like to note that the characters I put in these certain scenarios are actually 19 with clear adult bodies. This document acts like I'm the only one that actually does this kind of art. It also states that I'm a zoophile.
Honestly, I This part I totally understand. I mean, people draw NSFW if they want. I've seen worse, like, even though I did like say some stuff about it, I did not go as far as to call you I did say pokephilia, but nowhere in my tweets did I ever mention zoophilia, because zoophilia more has to do with real life animals than it does just drawing furry NSFW, I guess. Still, it's really sus that you would draw Score Bunny NSFW, but again, it's not like other people haven't drawn Score Bunny NSFW. If the characters were actually 19 with adult bodies, but like you drew the default Pokemon trainer, I think it would have been more responsible on your end to at least clear that up in some sort of way, because that could have really easily been taken out of context. While I would not go as far as to call you a zoophile, and I would not go as far as to, get that mad over it as some other people have. I am also not condoning the fact that you drew Score Bunny NSFW, because personally, it is kind of based on a child-like Pokemon, so that really does make you look bad on your end. But again, it's kind of, I personally am not going to attack you for that. I know I did personally like meme on you for it, and I did kind of dunk on you for it and make fun of it, and I'd like to apologize. That was kind of really immature for me, but like at the time I thought it was really funny. I don't really like want to go digging for more of your stuff though, because I know that you privated it, and it's like a serious violation of privacy for me to try to go and wheeze my way into finding stuff like that again, especially when you've made your NSFW account private, and etc etc. Okay, anyway, with that cleared up, let's keep going.
But I am in no way attracted to animals, and in no way a zoophile at all.
Again, zoophile mostly has to do with actual real life animals. It's just the fact that you drew Score Bunny like doing stuff to you, because that character that you drew in one of the NSFW was you. And the fact that you drew Score Bunny with a female Pokemon trainer, I don't know, I didn't see that full image. That's what I was told anyway. Just the fact that you drew that, kind of sets off alarms in people's heads. But again, I don't know.
So the Google Doc states that I was close to harming myself and possibly killing myself, which is correct. Trauma happened which caused people to leave my server, and I was distraught and my mental state was shattered. Yes, Confusion did message me right after that incident, and I immediately apologized and begged for forgiveness, and I'd honestly have to thank him for that. But what I refuse to stand for is the frivolous claim that I used him just to check on spies in my server.
As somebody who interacted with you before, this all kind of, blew up, I kind of have to agree with Confusion, but at the same time, like, I don't know the full story about you and Confusion, but as somebody who interacted with you, like, you did, like, want to check on spies in your server a lot. I was a mod in your server. You did want to spy on people. You did want to figure out who was possibly planning to raid or attack your server, which, like, that's fine, because at the time, like, there was people, like, attacking you for literally no reason, like, stuff that didn't even have to do with the stuff you did to other people, so I understand. But at the same time, you before, like, you did used to pull the suicide card on people a lot, like, I'm gonna harm myself, I'm gonna kill myself, etc etc, and like you cried wolf a lot of times, just saying, like, you used it, and like you would get people worried about you, and then the next day you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm fine, and like people would talk to you for hours on end. I was one of those people that, like, I would lose sleep for you. I would cry over you a lot. Sometimes I would, like, not even, like, eat or anything just to, like, be by your side, which, like, developed some serious problems for me that I won't go into right now. But, like, Confusion has kind of every right to be upset, because, like, I kind of sympathize with them. But again, like, I can't say for sure, like, I don't personally know you. I can't say for sure you don't suffer from those things. But, like, I'll admit you kind of did use that to get out of a lot of situations, which, like, in my opinion is not okay. But whatever, let's keep going.
which is utterly false. These DMs I'm showing you right now present my full-hearted thank yous for him for staying with me during my mental state.
Which, like, okay, you said thank you for staying with you for your mental state, but, like, you know, that kind of stuff screws people up. Like, when you have to, like, talk to somebody for hours and hours to stop them from hurting themselves. And when you do it over and over again, like, even if you don't mean to, it kind of feels like emotional manipulation at times, which, like, at the time, you were, like, a kind of a manipulative person. You would, like, do whatever you could to get people to be on your side. But again, I don't know what happened between you and Confation. I'm just speaking on my personal experience with you. You probably remember, you probably don't. But whatever, let's keep going.
When it was far from perfect. My real life friends insulted me by calling me a pedo just for shits and giggles. It was horrible. It was just to bully me. I didn't just go, thanks for telling me, despise, lol, and leave him. I was also understanding when he slept in, and nowhere did I force him to stay awake. I was being nice and kind to him, not because I was using him for my personal gain, but because he helped me during my darkest time. Even before May, when everything went to hell, I was still concerned about his well-being before all of this. And I even did take a break for a month, which Confation strangely leaves out. The claim that I was also never really sad is just complete nonsense. I was in severe mental and emotional pain for months, and took all my will to not just completely end it.
Which, like, I guess I understand because you were going through a lot at the time. People were trying to expose you, etc., etc., etc. But at the same time, like, these are the same people that, like, when they've dealt with you before, they never really saw that sincere side of you. Like, personally, I'm not gonna choose your side, but I'm staying on my side. I'm not choosing your side, but, like, I'm saying I understand. But, like, at the same time, are you really going to, like, I know it's, like, your fame and all that is, like, basically all you have going for you at this point. Because, like, to be honest, all your ex-friends just left you because of who you are as a person. Like, I'm just gonna say that flat out. I was one of those people, hell. But at the same time, like, ending yourself over internet drama is the absolute dumbest thing you could ever do. I was like you before I actually decided to seek help. I sought mental help. I went to therapy. I'm still in therapy, actually. I've been on medication for a while, etc., etc. And to be honest, what I'm trying to say is, don't end yourself over internet drama. On the internet, fame literally means nothing on the internet because, come on, it's the internet, who cares? And on the internet, especially if you've done something like that you know you've done, like, you know that one day it's gonna come back, and, like, if you're gonna end yourself over no, just don't. Just seek help. I suck help. I feel much better than I did before. Because before I couldn't even bring myself to go to school sometimes. I had to deal with a lot of emotions. I had to skip class to go to therapy a lot. But I'm fine now because I suck help. You should seek help too. I know that's kind of harder to do since you're, like, an adult now and you're in college or whatever, but at the same time, like, look on your college campus or something for resources.
Downplaying my thoughts of self-harm is concerning, and putting scare quotes around the phrase kill herself makes it even more concerning.
Because you've done the whole I'm gonna kill myself shtick lots of times, where you would say I'm gonna kill myself, leave for like 1, 2, maybe 3 days, and then come back, which, like, at that point, like, if you do that, like, don't expect people to believe you when you say that you're gonna kill yourself. Because suicide is, like, one of the hardest things somebody can go through, especially, like, one time that you told me you were gonna kill yourself, and you did like this whole live stream or whatever where you said you were gonna do it, do you know how much that worried me? Do you know what I went through when you did that? Do you know how much it hurt me when you did that? Because that hurt me a lot. I suffered for days because of that. I was trying to make sure you were alright. And we were together at the time, which made it a whole lot worse for me because I didn't know what to do. I was young. I was still practically a kid then. It was terrible, dude. And that still messed me up to this day because people send me screenshots of you saying you're gonna kill yourself a lot. And I try not to worry it, but deep down I do because I don't want somebody to die. That's the last thing I want. Maybe, you atoning for what you said, confessing, etc., but killing yourself? And the fact that most of the time, it felt like you were just doing it to get people to worry about you. Even if that wasn't your intention, that's certainly what it came off as. You don't play with people like that and expect to get away with it. Of course people are downplaying it because nobody was going to believe you after you've done it a lot of times. Plus, the times I told you I felt like doing it, a lot of the time you didn't really, you did, talk to me about it, but, a lot of the times it didn't feel sincere. When I talked to you about suicide, I kind of felt like I was counseling you. Meanwhile, if I was trying to explain to you my problems, it literally just felt like you were trying to dodge it, which, I get, you wouldn't want to deal with other people's problems. I know people that don't like having others' problems dumped on them, but you could have at least just said. Okay, back to the video, before I start crying or something stupid like that.
I wasn't suicidal to threaten nor use it as some sort of bargaining tool. I was miserable.
Again, even if you were miserable, you kind of did do it a lot. And when you say you're gonna kill yourself over and over and over, and you don't really, after you do that, you come back and you pretend like nothing happens. To people, it feels like you're doing it for attention.
Miserable and devastated that I thought suicide was the only way out of that situation.
Which, if you're gonna kill yourself for online drama, you have some serious problems that you need to get help for. Real life issues, I understand they're hard to deal with, but come on, these are internet issues. A majority of the people that are nagging at you to make an apology and all that are not people that are gonna show up at your door in real life. Honestly, if it was a real life issue that you were going through, I would kind of understand, I feel like killing myself is the only way out, because in real life all that's awaiting me is jail, and etc., but this is an internet issue, and again, with me, I felt like doing that kind of stuff too, but eventually I just went and sought help, and seeking help actually helped me a lot more than you can imagine.
I've cut and burned spots of myself on my skin on multiple occasions, yet you downplay it. It gets even worse when my real life friend actually took advantage of my then crumbling mental state and actually did rape me. It wasn't some sort of fairy tale or obviously fake.
I am not going to really comment on that because I didn't hear about this until now. Until I saw the Google Doc, I didn't hear about that. And I don't know what that situation was, but that's kind of something serious that I cannot confirm nor deny, so I'm just going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, that was true, but I'm not going to comment on this any further. I'm just going to let the video play out until she gets to a different point.
It's a situation that has haunted me, and I'm trying my best to forget about it. I've since cut contact with this real-life friend on Discord in real life. We've been together before and known each other for years prior to the incident as well.
Which, assuming your rape story was true, which I'm not going to say it's false, and I'm not going to say it's true because I don't know myself, well, that was a good thing that you did, good thing that you cut that person off.
The claims get weaker and weaker from here on out. The Google Doc highlights that the only reason I created John Dances 2 was to become famous, which...
No, you did create John Dances 2 to become famous, because before you made John Dances 2, you would always talk about how you hated gimmick accounts and how you mentioned that like all they ever do is just make accounts for clout, which that's exactly what you did. You love attention. You think that clout equals power. You always have. When we were together, all you would ever talk about is wanting to be popular, you know, which when you say John Dances 2 was for clout, nobody here believes you. Just saying.
Which is utterly false, nor did I use contagion to gain any form of popularity.
I don't know about that, so I'm not going to comment about it.
It's true that I do want to get more followers and get more famous, but it is not to gain any news from children.
I cannot confirm nor deny that, because I don't know what your intention behind creating John Dances 2 was, aside from, gaining followers and popularity, which you just contradicted yourself right now, saying that you didn't want this account to gain popularity, but you just said it was to gain popularity.
My DMs have been closed for a while. Not a single image was provided that even backs up this claim that the only reason John Dances 2 was started was to gain nudes.
Again, I don't know anything about that. Not gonna confirm nor deny anything here.
Because it wasn't. John Dances 2 gaining that amount of followers was out of my control, and I did not expect it to last that long.
Literally, neither did I. I thought your account was gonna die after a week. Surprised it didn't.
I just thought it was a fun idea to do requests and use the song in the video.
Okay.
Of course, I did gain followers from my gimmick account, but it was unintended. People can...
No, that was definitely intended. Like, deep down inside, I feel like it was literally intended. Because why would somebody who hates gimmick accounts want to create a gimmick account, aside from, free clout, which is something you've pretty much always wanted. Since we were together, you would always talk about it. I'm not gonna dive deep into my Discord DMs right now, but if it comes to it, I might do a Discord DM diving, but I don't know what has been deleted, what hasn't, so if I do, there might be some stuff missing, I don't know, etc, etc. Anyway, let's get back to the video, because I'm kind of going off topic here.
Follow the owner's main Twitter from the gimmick account. It happens without promotion too.
Literally, no one would know that you created the John Dances 2 account if you hadn't linked it yourself, because nobody would guess that a John Arbuckle Garfield account would be linked to some sort of Splatoon YouTuber. And even then, if you never mentioned it on your main, then there would literally be no point for you to gain followers aside from putting your main in the bio. And you don't have to do that, because there are a lot of people that if they don't really intend to get their main popular from a gimmick account, they just flat out don't put their main in the gimmick account bio. So I'm just for me personally, it does feel like you did do it for free clout, but if you're saying you didn't do it for free clout, then okay, but just saying I don't believe you.
Do not promote my main or retweet any of my tweets.
No, because it's a gimmick account. Nobody's gonna care about your main if you retweet it. You just put it in the bio though, because to see how to request, people have to look at the bio, and so they'll see that you have your main there.
Aside from two, sure, in the bio it said it was owned by me, and I follow my main with the gimmick account, but almost every other gimmick account owner does.
Yeah, which okay, I don't really see why this was a point that needed to be brought up. Again, personally, I feel like you did do it for clout, but if you didn't, sorry for the long pause. Somebody just came into my room. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, yeah, you did gimmick accounts do follow each other, if it's their main and all that, but at the same time, it kind of, I'm personally, I believe you did do it for clout. If you didn't, that's on you. But you don't really have, this wasn't really something like that you had to clear up. Like, using the account to gain free nudes is something you probably should have defended yourself for, but still. Anyway, let's get back to this.
I didn't even use it to promote my YouTube channel.
Because literally nobody who follows a John Dances 2 account would want to see Splatoon content, especially of a meme that's been milked for like, I don't know, 5 years. But again, that's just me, I guess. Like, I wouldn't promote my main on a freaking John Dances 2 Twitter account. Ew. Okay, anyway, that was just kind of a personal gripe. Anyway, back to this video. I know I say anyway a lot, I'm sorry.
I've even expressed tiredness from owning John Dances 2.
Then give it to somebody else. Or, I don't know, deactivate it. John Dances 2 was getting old anyways. At that point, it would have just been more, if you were really tired of doing it, it would have been more respectful to just either go on hiatus or just flat out deactivate. But again, that's just me. I don't know.
And tried to put a knife in it before, or trying to suspend it.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to suspend your account. Just announce that you're deactivating the account and you're not taking requests anymore. What you're saying doesn't really make sense. If I owned a gimmick account and I didn't want to post on it anymore, I wouldn't try to suspend it. That would just bring more attention to it. I would just, flat out say, hey guys, I don't feel like running this account anymore, so I'm just gonna stop posting on it altogether, etc., etc.
People would come into my DMs requesting songs, so I just had to close my DMs for it to stop.
Well, yeah, if you have a gimmick account where the thing is that you will edit a character dancing to whatever song in the world, a lot of people are going to keep requesting and requesting. Just turn off your DMs. That's literally the point of a gimmick account, to fulfill requests. Also, there's like a helicopter flying over here. Ew.
I have not harmed anyone else, nor preyed on anyone in general.
That's a fat lie. You have emotionally manipulated and harmed a lot of people, including myself. Even if that wasn't your intention, which I doubt it was, because why else would you say all those things? Honestly, this is just some serious cap right here. I smell nothing but lies, Chief. Nor preyed on anyone in general. That's a fat lie too, because a lot of the people that you were dating, even though they weren't 8 years old or something, they were still minors, and they were still people that you asked for NSFW pictures, including myself, which when you were over 18, you still asked me for them, which even though I gave them to you with my consent, looking back on it, that was stupid of me to do. I shouldn't have done that because I was in love with you. That was a stupid thing to do on my end, and I still regret it, and I sincerely hope you don't still have those pictures, because that wouldn't be a good look for you now, would it? But that's a big lie. I'm not going to mention these people by name, because there are some people that have not been wanting to get involved with this, or they just flat out don't want to be associated with you right now, so I'm not going to. But it did happen to several people, and what's even worse is that some of these people, you kind of did it to them when they were not in the best of moods, or you did it to them while they were infatuated with you, even though for a few of these cases, you were still dating me. You were still together with me, and you still did it anyway. And you didn't come out about it until they personally told me. And they said, a few of these people have said, I didn't tell you because I was scared that you would get mad at me. I wouldn't have gotten mad at them because I knew that you were kind of a predatory person going after other people, even though we were dating. I wouldn't have gotten mad at them. I would have been extra mad at you. You just didn't want them to tell me. I should have left you after the first time, but no, I was a stupid kid. I didn't realize how terrible of a person you were. And even though to this day I don't really think you should die or any of that kind of dumb stuff, at the same time I do think that it would make me happy to see you deactivate your account or whatever, but that's kind of, I'm not gonna force you to. That's just something I personally wanted to see for years. I don't know if that's a best course of action for you to take, and I don't know if you would do that. I doubt you would. I'm not saying you should, but personally, that was just something I thought you should do. But you were a person that did lunge after people. You went from one relationship to the next several times. And I should have known to left you the first time. And I let it happen because I was a kid who didn't know any better. I'm glad I do know better now, definitely.
My actions in the past were that of harsh and detestable, but they were far from racist, groom-like, or pedophilic.
When I first joined your server, people were spamming the hard R N-word a lot. And I know I'm not going to say I never said the N-word, whether it be with an A or anything like that. I'm not going to say that because that would be ironic of me to say. At the time, I did think it was okay to use that word. I definitely don't now. But when I first joined your server, there were a lot of people making black people jokes, black people look like monkeys jokes, etc., etc. There was a member in your server that was really like, you know, black people, black people, black people, black people, and they didn't get banned for a while until, like, you know, the first server pruning happened. Your actions are far from groom-like. That's a lie, because groomers tend to, you know, ask children, especially, or young people, for NSFW pictures, and you would sweet talk me and other people into sending you images, and when they didn't, you would be like, "Oh, I can't have images. Why not?" That's groom-like. And the thing is, like, you would tell me, like, I would tell you, like, isn't that kind of illegal? And you'd be like, well, and other times, like, you would say, like, oh, it's not illegal because even though in my state age of consent is 18, in the other state age of consent is 16, so it's okay. Okay, that's in another state. In your state, it's still illegal. If somebody were to report that to authorities, you would still be the one in trouble. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's some small brain thinking, and I can't believe I actually believed that for a while. Oops. Anyway. But no, this is a lie. They were far from racist. You said the N-word several times. Even one time in DMs, you called me the hard R N-word, but even though that was for, like, you were mad, and, like, I would understand you getting mad to the point where you had to insult me at that time, but, like, you still said the hard R N-word, bro. That's kind of not a good look for you, especially considering I am a dark-skinned person. I don't know if it has since been deleted because I tried looking for that screenshot in DMs, but I couldn't find it. Like, but it was definitely there. I'm not sure if I just didn't look hard enough or whatever, but whatever. Anyway, let's go back to this.
I was an asshole.
You definitely were.
A bad person doesn't even begin to describe how I used to be.
As it should.
And to my followers, close friends, and subscribers, I'm in deep regret and guilt for what I did and how I acted in the past.
Which, if that was really how you felt, you would have publicly apologized all that time ago when we asked, but you didn't. You waited until now, when a lot of people, like hundreds of people, retweeted that tweet saying how bad of a person you were. You waited. If you had apologized all that time ago and at least, you know, attempted to show other people that, like, you know, you were deeply remorseful instead of, you know, blocking them and being kind of harsh to them when they would try to talk to you again to see if you would finally, you know, clear up some stuff. Instead of doing that, all you had to do was publicly apologize all the time ago and actually change as a person and not continue doing that stuff. And guess what? This wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't be here. Your server would still probably be up with a lot of people in it, and nobody here would have anything against you. But oops, you didn't do that.
A piece of information I can earnestly give you all is that I have not and will not do my selfless and dumb actions ever again.
Commit this time. You're saying this right now on video. Commit. This time, you better not break this promise, because if you break this promise, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are never going to take your apologies seriously ever again. You will not do these selfish and dumb acts ever again. Prove it. Don't ever do this again. Nobody here ever wants to hear about another person coming out about who you are. Morgana, shut up. Anyway, nobody here wants to deal with this ever again. Nobody here wants to deal with you ever again. if you will not selfishly if you will not do selfish and dumb things like this again, own up to it. This would have been better if you have published this on your main account. The fact that you did this on a private unlisted account that has kind of little to no association with your main account kind of proves how much you want to hide this from the people that do follow your main account and don't know what's going on. Which, like, I get you wanted to do this so that you wouldn't clutter up your main homepage, but like it's still kind of worse when you see that like this kind of feels like you just don't want to be associated with it altogether. But anyway, let's go back to this.
But it is not your job to forgive, nor am I expecting anyone else to forgive.
A lot of people are not going to forgive you, but at least you're somewhat making a public statement. So fine, I'll give you that one. There's a lot of long pauses.
Another piece of information I can give you is that didnt will no longer be associated with me and will be administered by another person.
I swear to God, it better not be Fox, because that would technically be the same thing as being administered under you. Because, no offense, but I'm pretty sure Fox is still one of your bootlickers. So, okay. But that's still like, even though it would be administered by another person, I would have just preferred that it wouldn't be associated to you at all. It'll be run by another person, but I don't think it should be run by a person who's close to you. I think it should just be run by someone else entirely, or, just deactivated as a whole. But I don't know.
I have since given up the password to that account and requested didnt to block me indefinitely as of this recording.
Thank you. I'm still not following didnt too. Ew.
Again, I hope everyone, my followers, subscribers, close friends, and the people personally involved do better. I can only give my apologies and promise to all of you I will not repeat those same actions. Thank you to the great people that have given me a great time on my platforms. I will also be taking a break from Twitter and YouTube for a while to think and process. My apologies will mean nothing to you, but I still feel my deepest regret on how I used to act. I still wish you all better lives and hope you all stay healthy.
I hope you're doing better for yourself too, but at the end of the day, don't expect, like, I know you said you weren't going to, I'm just reiterating, but like, don't expect people to actually want to listen to you. Don't expect people to actually go back to that account because that account has bad history now. Don't expect anything good to come out of this. Even though you made an apology, that's not going to clear up everything that happened. It's still a bad thing that you did. And as one of the people who was probably the most affected by this, because I was with you the longest, I guess, it's just, it's just, what you did, not only was it stupid, but people were telling you it was stupid, and you didn't care until now. You have some serious stuff that needs to be cleaned up. Honestly, if I were you, I wouldn't keep this on an unlisted side. I would address this publicly on my main YouTube channel and basically say what you said, but like give more context into what you said, because you said I did not groom people, I did not manipulate people, which you did. There are 2 Google Docs released on you that have a lot of screenshots proving that is exactly what you did. So, those points are obviously true. You just want to downplay them. You've been downplaying it. Because given one of your recent tweets where you said like, what was it? That the Splatoon account, like the Splatoon community was full of drama, even though, and it was like the Smash community, like you said that was drama when people were getting, exposed as pedophiles. The fact that you try to downplay something like that, even though that situation was kind of similar to what you were doing, doesn't look good on you at all. Address this on your main. Don't address this on a private account, on a private YouTube. And turn on comments, because there are some people that could genuinely give you some good advice in the comments. With that said, though, just know that I, being one of the people that was personally affected by you, even though I do not wish death upon you, I also do not wish for you to weasel your way out of this like you have before. At least, like, I want to see some kind of, serious repercussions aside from, I'm sorry, you go sad for a while, you deactivate for like 5 days and then you come back. I kind of want to see more than that personally at my end. I do not think that you should, I don't think that you should be making friends with other people without telling them who you are first. Before you make friends with people, tell them what's going on with you and the stuff you've done, because there are a lot of people who, if they find out on their own, your friendship will be shattered instantly. And stop trying to get your bootlickers to stay, like getting the people that have been, like, because a lot of people, I know this especially because I was one of them before, if they feel uncomfortable or feel like the need to leave you, guilt tripping them is not the way to go, because in the end it's just going to make them hate you and think that you're very manipulative. At this point, address it publicly. Do this publicly, and maybe, just maybe, I'll accept your apology. If you don't want to do this publicly, which I don't know why you didn't just do this publicly. Everyone knows your YouTube channel now. Everyone knows who you are now. It would have been better to just do this on your main, but you didn't. And the fact that this apology is kind of hidden, because a lot of people won't read a tweet longer, and less people are going to be willing to click on a video in a tweet longer. You should have said this either in an actual Twitter thread, posted it actually on Twitter, your actual apology, or, posted an actual video about what you've done. Because what I noticed the most is that aside from the images in the Google Doc, the first Google Doc that was ever made about you, you didn't show any other screenshots pretty much. Which, like, the fact that there was another Google Docs released with a bunch of screenshots of stuff you did, but you didn't bother to clear up any single one of those. Anyway, with that said, I really feel like you should address the entire story, how it actually happened, because you did groom and manipulate people. That is something you did, and you kind of just glossed over that for a split second. You talked more about your John Dances 2 account than you did about all those allegations in this entire video, pretty much. Like, the John Dances 2 account had more screen time than, the actual DMs of the people you've manipulated and clearing up actual screenshots of stuff that you have said. Anyway, with that said, this is Musume signing off. If I'm going to leave comments on in this video, so if any of my friends or anybody who's watching this who want to make their points in the comments, please go ahead and do it. Anyway, with that said, bye-bye.